Good morning. Welcome to CleanR Grupa Investor Webinar. We will start with company's presentation, followed by a live Q&A session. Throughout the call, we'll be looking forward to receiving your questions. Please submit them in writing through the Q&A window below the presentation. For your convenience, we are recording the webinar and replay will be available shortly after the call. Let me now introduce you to our hosts. Juris Gulbis, CEO and Chairman of the Management Board, and Gatis Bulls, CFO of CleanR Group. Gentlemen, please.
Yes, good morning, dear guests. We are starting our 12 months presentation for CleanR Grupa. And obviously, this disclaimer is the first part. I'm not reading that out. And today it's myself. I'm CEO of CleanR Grupa, and Gatis Bulls, who is CFO. He joined us last year as a corporate development officer, previously worked at Air Baltic for a number of years, and he'll be presenting financial results today. I kick off with a short reminder of who we are and what we do. CleanR Grupa is a full-cycle environmental services company. We collect waste, we sort it, and we recycle it and put it back into use. We also clean and maintain indoors and outdoors environment. We have a number of companies in the group. CleanR, which is responsible for municipal waste collection and management. Our new acquisition at the end of last year is Lotus, which works with medical and hazardous waste. Vidas Resource Centers is a waste sorting facility at Getlin, which sorts all Riga region waste. And also we have spun off last year into CleanR Industry all our production and recycling assets, namely RDF production and plastic recycling plant. Industrial waste management is handled by CleanR Verso, and also we own Zaļā Josta, which is a producer responsibility system provider. That's waste management part. On environmental services, it's Visi, which is indoor cleaning services. Visi Urban is urban maintenance company, and also Comauto, which is also urban services company in Vidzeme region. And at the end of last year, we bought a minority stake in Tranzīcel, which works in Liepāja area. So that's shortly our group. We are 100% local capital company still. We work in the whole Latvia, and more than 500,000 people are serviced by our companies. And we received a number of awards last year. The one which I like the most is Nasdaq Award for Best Investor Relations, which means that there is some benefit from having these webinars, but obviously I have to say thank you to investor relations team, to Agita Baltbārde and Inta Liepa personally. They are helping us to keep you all informed about our developments. Here is a more detailed description of all the companies. I'll be skipping this slide. You can read it if you wish to learn a little bit more about our companies. Well, this is my best slide in this presentation, which demonstrates our brilliant financial performance for 2024. As you can see, we have demonstrated another year of double-digit growth, both in revenue and EBITDA. We have paid a lot of tax, 23.3 million euros, and we have very strong equity position. It's 51%. That provides us with a stable foundation for delivering our strategic goal of growing company both organically and through M&A process. So we have a strong financial performance and strong foundation for further growth. So main things that happened last year to us, we won a number of tenders. In waste management, it's Liepāja, Jūrmala, Ogra, and Ķekava. These are territories where we've been present before, but we have achieved better pricing through these new tenders. In environmental services, we won Visi Urban won urban maintenance agreement contracts in Jūrmala and Riga. Jūrmala is where we've been present already, and in Riga, this is a new contract where we manage 1/3 of Riga maintenance contract for the future. Going back to waste management, another important development was acquisition of Lautus, which we've done in November last year. It works in medical and hazardous waste area, so this is a new business area for us. We have also continued to develop our infrastructure. We built by now more than 200 underground waste containers in Riga and also in Jūrmala. We have finalized the development of our industrial waste sorting facility for CleanR Versa. It's actually very modern and it's the biggest such facility in Baltic countries. Also, we have doubled the production of RDF, or refuse derived fuel, which helps us to reduce deposition costs. And also extended producer responsibility system for textile started middle of the last year, which is additional revenue for our producer responsibility system. And also sorting and collection of biodegradable waste is mandatory since January last year. That also brings us additional revenue stream. On side of environmental services, Komoto had a good year by expanding their footprint in Vidzeme. They have covered a number of additional areas there, and also we got a contract in additional area for cleaning in Cēsis. And Visi Urban also acquired minority share of Transit-Cell, which works in Liepāja region. Both in environmental services and in waste management, we have worked heavily on digitalization and automation. In new areas for CleanR, we have achieved 80% of new contracts being signed digitally, and clients onboarded fully. Client onboarding process has been fully digital, so that's helps us with the speed and cost. And also, Visi has done a lot of work on a customer service app, which works in our biggest clients, such as Eastern Hospital. And also, we now have as we call it, robot army, a large number of robots which we have acquired, which can autonomously clean large areas in modern buildings. Also, on corporate governance side, we have launched last year employee share option scheme, and first options will hopefully be converted into shares in April of this year. So our shareholding structure will be extended by the best employees of the company. And also we have worked to strengthen the management of subsidiaries in Verso and also in holding company with Gatis joining our team. Obviously, we have worked on sustainability a lot. Sustainability is at the core of our business. Some of you probably noticed our pop-up project Šūna, which was in Riga Center in the summer of last year. This year we will be expanding this project into regions of Latvia. We have further developed our non-financial reporting. It's now fully aligned with taxonomy. We've continued investing in our green fleet. We have 42% of passenger car fleet, which is electric, and 70% of our vehicles are low or zero emissions. And municipalities also have worked and helped with the green public procurement, which results in the fact that in Jūrmala and Liepāja, close to 90% of our waste collection fleet is CNG or Euro 6 grade. Our carbon footprint is something that I'm especially proud of. We have avoided emissions 2 times more than we have released. So that's our business model provides for actually avoiding emissions rather than creating it. And also we have taken leadership in promoting shift to circular economy. We have launched circular economy measurement tool for municipalities, circular economy index, and there's been quite a good response as every municipality wants to be the best in every aspect of circular economy. If we are going now to overall industry trends, we have seen in increasing taxes and landfill costs, which pushes us more into waste to energy area, and for example in production of refuse-derived fuel. And obviously this trend will continue as according to EU regulation, by 2030 we have to deposit only 10% of collected municipal waste, and obviously without waste to energy projects this is highly unlikely to be achieved. Also there's a push from EU for reduction of plastic packaging waste, and it also increases the cost through taxes of plastic packaging, and we expect that this will boost plastic recycling and reduce plastic pollution, which is helpful to our plastic recycling business. And obviously as an overall subject is stagnation of European economy, and on top of that obviously we have now a little bit of geopolitical upheaval, which obviously doesn't help in the longer term. We have reworked updated our strategy during the summer, and some of the highlights are that we would like to continue to be one of the most valuable private companies in Latvia, and we continue growing both through M&A and organically, and we have sufficient financial power to finance that growth. We are a circular economy leader in Latvia and continue to maintain that position in each market. And our target is reducing landfill costs, as it's one of the biggest costs on our P&L, and we are systemically working to reduce these costs to zero. And there's a lot of focus on utilizing internal synergies within the group, both, and there are many areas where we can improve efficiencies on fleet utilization, on IT, on other areas. And obviously, a lot of focus will be on automation and robotization, especially in areas where a lot of manual work is involved. So here is my introduction. Now I pass to Gatis to talk about the finance.
Thank you, Juris. I'll follow up with financials 2024. Here, I want to start that these are unaudited financials. Audited financials will be available by the end of April. So regarding the revenue and EBITDA figures, here I want to start with the word record. We have achieved a record level of revenue of 121 million compared to 102 million in 2023. This is a growth of 19% compared to the last year, or 19 million. And specifically, I want to note here that the growth has been experienced in all our major business lines, such as waste processing, cleaning, sorting, and recovery of the materials. As for EBITDA, we have reached, again, very, very good results, 25.1 million in 2024, which is an increase of 28%, or 5.5 million compared to the previous year. And moreover, our EBITDA margin has reached 21%, which is 2 percentage points above last year. All of these financials are showing that our previous investments in our asset base, in efficiency and digitalization, are also bringing results. And we have been able to grow substantially without sacrificing any of the profitability margins. Regarding our assets and working capital, in 2024, by the end of the year, our assets reached almost 105 million compared to 91 million last year. But what's interesting here is that our equity ratio remained at 51%, showing that our balance sheet remains strong. Moreover, our shareholders in Q4 2024 invested 12.3 million in our share capital. Thus, our balance sheet is even stronger and ready for future growth and market opportunities. As for working capital, it has decreased from 23 million to 8.6 million in 2024, and liquidity has decreased from 2.2 times to 1.2 times. But here I want to note specifically that our bond matures by the end of the year. If we are precise, 9th of December is the date when we have to do the balloon payment of the bonds. That's why bonds have been reclassified from long-term liabilities to short-term liabilities, which affects obviously also liquidity and working capital. But you see that even taking into account all the bond payments, our liquidity is above 1, which shows that our strong balance sheet and our ability to actually pay the balloon payment without even refinancing. It also shows that we have a number of scenarios we can consider by the end of the year when the bond is due. We also increased our investments, and the investments increased by 32% compared to the previous year and reached 11.9 million compared to 9 million the year before. Here we invested mostly in asset renewal and also with the emphasis on efficiency. And by efficiency, I mean here electric road sweeper, I mean CNG trucks, I mean underground containers, IT systems, of course. And also what's notable is we opened a new sorting line in Nuomalis, which is operated by CleanR Grupa. As for debt part, the debt increased just by 2 million by the end of the year and reached 23.9 million compared to 21.8 million the year before. And again, compared to our assets and our profit loss profitability margins, these are quite low levels. So that's why it shows that we can add a lot more debt should we choose so, and pursue any market opportunities or grow even faster in the years to come. Regarding debt maturity, as mentioned before, most of our debt matures in 2025 because of the bonds. But also in 2025, we have borrowings and lease liabilities of 2.5 million, which is a reasonably low level. As for next 4 years, we have a liability of 5.7 million, which is roughly around 1.4 million per year, which again is not a huge number for our financials. And beyond 2029, we have 1.8 million as liability. And financial covenants, yes, we have 3 financial covenants. We fulfill all 3 of them with a very comfortable margin. As you can see, our interest coverage ratio is 13, while we are required to keep it above 3. Equity ratio, I mentioned before, we have 51%, while the requirement is above 30. And last, net debt leverage ratio, the requirement is below 3.5, while we are delivering 0.06. That's all from my side. I guess we can move on to Q&A session.
Wonderful. Thank you for the presentation. We're now opening the floor for the questions. Participants, to ask your question to the company, please use the Q&A box that you see below the presentation. We'll start with the pre-submitted questions. Specifically, what is the company's plan with development of waste regeneration facility? When do you plan to start execution phase?
Okay, we have done the most important part, environmental impact assessment procedure. It's been completed, and the government is saying that this planned activity is safe and doesn't harm environment. So the next step should be the change to territory planning by municipality, and currently we are in the process of informing and educating the society about the benefits of our facility. So at the moment it's too early to discuss the timeline, and we will inform you as soon as there are any updates.
Thank you. Your tax rate seems to be a lot higher in Q4. Could you explain that?
I guess I can take it. Here it goes back to the share capital increase. We distributed accrued profits of the previous years by the end of the year, but most of it was invested back into share capital.
Thank you. You delivered comfortable beats to your EBITDA guidance, but fell somewhat short of revenue. Could you explain what were the main drivers for both numbers?
I think we should go back to Gatis's presentation, where you can see the composition of our revenue. The key driver for revenue is waste collection and processing. It's almost half of our business, and it actually defines the best. In biggest part, it defines both results for sales and for EBITDA. And obviously, we have repriced last year in some of the contracts, and also we have grown business in other areas, in cleaning services, in sorting business, but overall the defining aspect is waste collection and processing. So that defines most of our business.
Thank you. What is your revenue and EBITDA target for this year? And what kind of direct cost and fixed cost inflation have you assumed?
We are not providing guidance for EBITDA and revenue for this year.
Let's talk about bonds. Your 2025 bond is trading above the call price as per latest price data, and you have plenty of cash to call it. What is your view on either calling the bond or refinancing it? Are there any comments? When should we expect the news on this topic?
Well, we don't plan to call the bond, and we are currently exploring options for our financing structure. We will come public when we have something specific to comment on this aspect.
Thank you. Could you elaborate a bit on the planned capital allocation for this year?
Well, we have a CapEx program to keep our existing business in place since we won new contracts both in waste management and in environmental services. So there'll be a lot of CapEx to keep these new contracts in place. And also we have a number of M&A projects in our pipeline, which I'm not disclosing at the moment.
Mhm. Could you remind us what is the remaining average contract lifetime of your public services? And are there any large-scale contracts ending near term or perhaps new tenders being launched?
Well, the biggest tender which will have biggest impact on our business is obviously Riga household waste management tender. That's in 2027. Urban maintenance contracts are quite recent. Riga was last year, and it's for 5 years. But street servicing in Liepāja, for example, will be next year. So the biggest is and most important is obviously Riga tender for waste management. But talking on average, it's usually 3, 5, or 7 year contracts that we have with municipalities.
Thank you. And currently, the last question that we have received. In December, you announced an increase in share capital. Do I understand correctly that this was due to shift of retained earnings into paid-in capital and no external equity was injected? Additionally, what is the dividend proposal for 2024 financial year?
Yes, it was a balance sheet. Basically, we have put our balance sheet in order because we had a very low share capital. So we have increased share capital from retained earnings and no external equity was injected. That's correct understanding of this situation. The dividend proposal we will have following our audit report.
Thank you. I don't see any new questions coming in, so we'll be slowly closing the session. Participants, thank you for your active engagement today, and thank you for joining the call.
Thank you.
Thank you.